Couple of hours this morning and then break for an hour and then a couple of hours this afternoon. I want to take a little bit of time to explain about this tree and more importantly to explain what I'm going to do to it and also to explain why I'm going to do what I'm going to do to it. So it's a Scots Sylvestris bovonensis. It was one of my customers owned it. He bought it from his father about 30 years ago for £6. That didn't include the pot. Yeah? And he's grown it for that number of years. And the bovonensis is a very dwarf Scots pine, short needle, generally quite compact growth, but it can get quite leggy over time, as some pines can, if it isn't trimmed correctly. And he'd just done really nothing to it, just planted it into bigger plant pots and then into this mica, which is kind of a plastic bonsai pot. And a few years ago, he came up to the nursery with a picture of it on his phone and asked me what I thought. He told me a little bit about it. And I said it wanted a larger pot, it wanted trimming, wiring, styling, and I gave him a quote for doing that. Yeah? But there's a lot of work in doing that. He said, oh, I can't spend that much on it. I said, fair enough. Do you want to sell it? He said, no. I said, fair enough. And I said, well, maybe I'm thinking of buying it. Anyway, long story short was I swapped it for a bunch of pots. The trouble is, when I saw it and when I got it, dwarf Scots pine.
So you reckon it would go on the Scots pine, alright?
Sorry?
It's grown on probably Scots pine.
Yeah, it would just be grafted onto normal Sylvestris. Wants a ceramic pot, because it's in a mica pot, and I gave him a quote, gave him an idea as to what that would cost him. He said, I don't want to spend that much. I said, fair enough. Do you want to sell it? He said, no. I said, fair enough. And a couple of years later he came up and said, I'm thinking of selling that pine, are you interested? So I'd sort of already expressed an interest in it, so I said I'd have it. When I actually got it, the structure of it was not as good as it was on the photograph. You couldn't really see the structure. I've had it for a number of years. It's quite a full tree. Well, even this morning it was quite a full tree, yeah. But there was quite a lot of static growth in the upper section. It wasn't so interesting. So what we've done, we've gone for more of a dramatic silhouette, more of a windswept style. We've still got the bit we cut off. Somebody this morning said, how are you going to get it all wired? I said, I've only got to wire the bits I'm leaving on. Yeah. So this bit here, basically, is in here. Yeah. So when we look from the front towards you guys, we've got some low branches, two big pom-poms, another two big pom-poms and a big sort of umbrella at the top. Obviously, we'd also got all the foliage off these dead branches. So first cut's normally the hardest one, isn't it? Yeah. So we took all that away. We've altered the front to here. Yeah. And we've gone with more of a windswept. Now eventually, when I come to pot it, I probably want to tilt. I want to tilt it over a little bit to the right, and probably forward a little bit as well. I'm struggling to do it on this turntable. Let's spin round now. You turn it round so you've got pots are big. So now, the future of this tree. The health of it won't harm from what I've done today. What I've done is cut a couple of branches off, yeah, and wired it. It's been in this pot I think 6 or 7 years. I'd leave it in this over winter. In spring I'm going to get it into something else. Now eventually, because it's quite a natural style, I want it to be a natural image of like a coastal windswept tree. Obviously the rectangle formal pot's no good for that at all. I'm wanting it in more of a shallow crescent pot or on a slab even, or on a piece of rock. So I'll have a rummage around and see what we've got, what I've got. It might go into shorter deeper pot in the interim, which will make it easy to move about. We don't need this width of pot anymore, but I might go a little bit deeper to facilitate me, allow me to tip it over in the pot a little bit. The added depth will help. I'll probably do that for a year or two, keep it in something like that, while I'm having a pot made for it to go into eventually. Because it's quite dwarf, they're fairly slow growing, these wires will stay on here for, it wouldn't surprise me if the wire stays on for a couple of years. It won't be cutting in, so we can leave it. We've stripped a lot of the bark off this dead wood, off these branches, sorry, to create the dead wood. This wants further work on it, to tidy it up, to put some detail into it, but we've done quite a bit today just to give you the image of dead wood at the back of the tree here. Okay. It was a little bit of a tricky demo because there was a lot of tree on the floor, yeah, and I thought long and hard about doing it because I always want to try and do what's best for the tree. But this tree was giving me a bit of a problem because the structure of it, the weak structure that wasn't very good, wasn't very refined, it didn't have nice movement. The more that was on the tree, the longer it was on the tree, the more it annoyed me, and we never progressed this tree any further. So we've had to be fairly drastic. We've cut a big section away, which has allowed us to keep this section. We've still got the good base, the old aged bark, but we've got some movement through here, yeah? And the dead wood at the back echoes that movement, creates a completely different image than what. No doubt there'll be a few before and after photos appearing on internet and stuff. So if you weren't here this morning, you'll be able to catch up and see what it looked like before. And I'll take some and post and put them on my website as well. So if you need to see what it started out like, yeah. Just don't say anything to the bloke who I bought it off because he doesn't know. Yeah. So we've just got to keep it secret. So that won't be any problem. Busy, lots of wine.
And the master.
Yeah.
So this is the end of the demonstration. Now we've finished. The Scots pine, Pinus sylvestris bovanensis. This tree is about 45 years old. We've done quite dramatic reduction. I'm taking a big section off this side. We've gone for a natural windswept design. We've kept these branches. We made them into dead wood to give movement and flow from the left over to the right of the tree. The next stage for this tree, we'll get it repotted into a better pot, out of this formal pot into something more rustic that suits the tree so much better. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Corin.
Thank you.